list. Thank you. Today, I'm going to let you know the unknown. I'm sure that everyone seated here would agree that great teachers and principals hold the key to India's children getting the best education. Yet, why is it that as a nation that exalts outstanding teachers, the education department continues to do a spotty job of preparing the teachers and principals to leave the classroom and schoolhouse? A very good morning, everybody. I am Hind R. Chetlani, and I'm here to represent Nazareth Convent High School, Urbi, to share my views on the topic school education today and tomorrow. I would like to begin by saying that many Indian graduates are getting the golden opportunity to work abroad. Being an Indian myself, I am proud of the same fact. However, they do not realize that they will be working for some other country. Why is this different? What's hidden inside? What are we missing? It is our education. Today, 1 out of 10 students in the world plan to study in foreign countries, which intend to change our education system. I am proud to say that maybe in future, India will have its own Cambridge, Oxford, Los Angeles, Texas, and New York universities in our own hometowns, and perhaps even name them as Tiruvallur University of Tamil Nadu, Urdu University of Nature, Coimbatore University of Missionaries, Mumbai University of Software, and so on. Sounds good, right? Education not only has to keep pace with today, but has to create structures flexible enough to adapt for an unknown tomorrow. Today's students are the first generation to grow up with digital technologies. It has changed the way we view knowledge and access information. It relates to our world. Education needs to both create the incredible opportunities for deep learning which new technologies can offer, and to prepare students to cope with the amount and speed of information at their fingertips. The rate of change itself has accelerated dramatically during this time frame. It has taken us about 3,000 years to shape our writing skills right from the age of pottery. But at the end of the day, we can have the most dedicated teachers, the most supportive parents, and the best schools in the world. But therefore, I would like to conclude by quoting the father of our nation. Live as if you were to die tomorrow, and learn as if you were to live forever. Thank you. Bharat Mata ki Jai. Thank you. Well, that was a very motivational speech by him. Thank you, Hind. Well, let's move on to our next finalist, which is C004 MR Adisha of States Anglo-Indian Higher Secondary School. C004 MR Adisha of 7th Standard of Saints Anglo-Indian Higher Secondary School. A very good afternoon to everyone present here. Honorable Chief Guests, esteemed judges, respected teachers, parents, and my dear friends. Myself, Alisha, a 7th grader from States Anglo-Indian Higher Secondary School, and I am here to put up few of my viewpoints regarding school education today and tomorrow. But before we begin all that, I would like to thank everyone present here for attending Coimbatore's biggest public speaking event present here at Kikani Institutions on this day. But before we proceed to the subject, I would like to share a little incident which happened to me yesterday. Actually, I was preparing for the speech and suddenly my little cousin sister came and asked me, "What is this education? Why are you repeating this word education, education, education?" I explained her, education is learning what you didn't even know that you didn't know. And then she was like, "What?" I again explained her, education is learning what you didn't even know that you didn't know. Then she told, "Yeah, okay, fine." But I know that she didn't understand it. And I left her. Well, that was an old proverb by Aristotle. So now, let us start up with what we are actually called upon for. And when we talk about education, the first thing which comes into my mind is primary education. So when we talk about primary education, it is the first step towards developing skills, characteristic features of a child, and an overall personality of a child. So as far as primary education is concerned, I am okay with the ongoing primary education system in India. But as far as secondary and higher secondary standards are concerned, we see a lot of innovations in education these days. For instance, computerized classes, online courses, ICT devices, etc. According to me, I think all these things are fine to implement in the classroom. But when I compare a device to a teacher, I find it more interesting to listen to a teacher who explains, who makes eye contact with the students, and who demonstrates the facts. No matter how far we land in education via technologies, it can never replace a genuine or hard-working teacher. But that's just my little perception of viewing things like that. And I am sure that we get inspired and motivated by teachers and not machines, don't we? Well, school education these days is a combination of teachers integrated with technologies in developing the right pedagogical approaches to train children and spread knowledge. As the essence of education lies in the fact that the children of this generation will be the adult citizens of tomorrow. And this is enough of a reason to say that the growth and future of India is completely dependent upon the quality of the present scenario of education. So recently I heard news about South Korea where there was a scarcity of English teachers. And guess what? They developed robot teachers for the students to meet their needs. Oh my God, this is gonna be a perfect nightmare for me to get taught by a robot teacher. And let us spare the robots for other purposes, right? Well, everyone likes changes, don't we? And the change I want to see in Indian educational system is to have more focus on skill-based education rather than rote memory and mugging up things and vomiting it on the paper. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to draw your attention to one more essential topic of mine, which is that there is no doubt that India has produced numerous professionals and engineering graduates. Isn't it? Raise your hand if you agree. Yes, I see many people agreeing to the fact that there are many professionals and engineering graduates produced by our own country, India. But that hasn't helped us in any way to develop technological innovations here in India. Rather, we are busy in running call centers for the rest of the world. Now that is where our engineering skills end. So, actually, I think the ambition of school education should be to give rise to entrepreneurs, innovators, thinkers, writers, scientists and artists who can construct the foundation of
knowledge-based economy, rather than heading towards an inferior service provider nation. So, to finally end with, I would like to emphatically state that the provision of education should be equal for all, because quality learning is the right of every quality student, no matter which little state or which little village the child is from. Everyone should get equal education. I would like to thank Kikani institutions as well as Coimbatore Speakers Forum for giving me this marvelous opportunity to speak my heart out regarding school education today and tomorrow. Thank you very much.
That was a very interesting speech by Alisha. Thank you, Alisha. Next finalist, next person on the battlefield. It is the speaker number CO11, V. Amrita Vaishnavi of 9th grade, GD Metric Higher Secondary School. V. Amrita Vaishnavi. A very good afternoon to one of our present here. I am the Amrita Vaishnavi from 9th standard of GD Matriculation Higher Secondary School, and I am here to talk on the topic Education Today and Education Tomorrow. Within the last few generations, the time scale for massive change has become very short when compared to the human lifespan. The world will be a very different place when we die than it was when we were born. Education not only has to keep pace with today, but create structures flexible enough for an unknown tomorrow. The shift from an industrial era to a knowledge or concept-based economy is in the need for innovation, problem solving, and adaptability. Radically different approaches towards work, productivity, and prosperity require new approaches towards learning, school, and education. Today's students are the first generation to grow up with digital technology, and this technology has changed the way we view knowledge, access to information, and relate to our world. Education is something which is vastly efficient for the students of this generation. But for some reason or the other, a few don't wish to listen in class or sit on a chair unmoved listening to long lectures. Today, the students are taught in a more interesting way. For example, let us take the smart boards. It proves to be very essential for the students and as well as the teaching staff. Some students lack interest in studies due to poor ways of learning or lack of concentration. What these kind of students require is a fun-filled classroom accompanied by various activities that make the concepts clear. The projects that are assigned to the students must be very challenging. For example, let us take the subject science. It always seems like a farrago of everything around us from the physics, chemistry, and biology point of view. Each student is able to express his or her thoughts by coming up with new and innovative project ideas. These kinds of discussions must be brought to light. I think that classroom learning can definitely be made fun and enlivened with a fairly large amount of project demonstration and an acceptable amount of textbook learning. This helps to bridge the gap between innovative thinking and textbook learning. Over the years, there has been a drastic change in the level of innovative thinking around the world. Now, looking into the future, there might be greater innovations in technology that might interest the learners. But I swear it would be way too different from the present world. Maybe centuries later, the way of learning and the way of teaching might change. Why? The people's view towards education too have the chances of changing. But unfortunately, in some places, the education process remains virtually unchanged in the 21st century when compared to the 19th and the 20th century. For today's young people to succeed and become global citizens, they must learn to interact and communicate with the people around the world. Global learning must start at a very young age with the introduction of learning new foreign languages and learning about different cultures around the world. Today's students need as much as international exposure as they can get, whether they wish to work in the business sector or in the not-for-profit sector. Education is like the passport for the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. The world is now changing. It changes as technology allows us to communicate. And as a result of the ability to communicate globally, the education system must also change. The challenge is to prepare the children of today for a world yet to be created, for technologies yet to be unveiled, and for jobs yet to be invented. Education is like a platform for success or failure. But is our system still fit for purpose? It used to be that an education lasted you a lifetime. But now, we need to be educated for a world where the jobs you will occupy are yet to be created, the technologies you will be using are yet to be invented, and the problems you will be solving are yet to be understood. Now, the widely influenced IBM survey says that creativity is considered by the global executives as the number one quality a leader must possess. Young people are taught in batches and organized by age and not interest or aptitude. Now, the students must be classified into batches where they have interest towards subject, and they are only measured by an academic performance, and this is precisely the present scenario. Now let's start talking about the future of learning. Let's be the future of learning, and let's create an education that inspires each and everyone around us. Thank you and have a nice day. That was a very motivating speech. Thank you, Amrita. Well, I don't know how many of you know Hindi over here, but there's one thing I'd like to share. There's two words in the whole world which can give motivation for both ways, good and bad, which is bhaglo. Bhaglo, first meaning which we have, run away. Second meaning, participate. And I bet all the participants which are like 105, all these participants for who will be the next Shiv Khera have taken the second option. And I bet all of us are proud of them. So with this positive thought, let's move on to our seventh finalist, which is speaker number D002, Shweta Srikanth of 9th Standard School, the PSBB Millennium School. Shweta Srikanth. Best of luck. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Good afternoon to everyone present here. I am Shweta Srikanth of class 9 from the PSBB Millennium School, and I am here to speak on the topic School Education Today and Tomorrow. The first question that popped into my head when I started preparing for this speech was what exactly is the meaning of the word education. Looking at its etymology, the word education is derived from the Latin word educatus, which means to rise, to nourish, or to draw out. So basically, through education, the potential of a person should be developed with proper care and nourishment, and the powers of an individual should be given scope for development. This gave me another question. Does the current education scenario in India satisfy this definition? Without any doubt, school education in India has transformed in leaps and bounds and has definitely evolved for the better. Today, there is a lot of emphasis being laid on concept-based education and hands-on projects and experiments. Technological tools like smart boards and visual media have transformed education in a myriad of ways. School education today is not just about excelling in academics, but also in various other fields like sports and fine arts. So as I said, there has been a lot of change, but there is still scope for improvement. While today there's a lot of stress being laid on concept-based education, I don't think we've still completely come up with the idea of rote learning or reproducing exactly from the textbook. Many surveys have proven that some of the top rank holders in schools are unable to cope up with the college curriculum because of this habit of learning without understanding. The most common words in a student's life are exams, tests, assessments, and all other synonyms of the same. By the end of 12 years of school education, a student is completely burnt out and is devoid of energy, zest, and creativity. Another major drawback of the current education system is that the word intelligence is often equated to proficiency in only certain subjects like mathematics and science. However, going forward, I'd like to see an education system that helps a child realize his potential, be it in sports, writing, filmmaking, or any other field. Similarly, there's a huge craze for professional courses like engineering and medicine, and there's a scarcity in the number of people opting for vocational courses. Practically speaking, a society cannot exist with just engineers and doctors. It needs people with vocational skills too, and this is why I feel that the system should lay a little more importance on that aspect. Education is supposed to make a person a better human being, but looking at the increase in violence in society, and especially within the classroom, makes one introspect on our existing system. Our education is all about assimilating facts, formulas, and equations, and there is very less emphasis on holistic development. Education is not just about intelligence, it's about intelligence plus character. While everything in life must be well organized, I feel that our education system may be a little too structured. There is very little scope for flexibility, and this is why I feel that the concept of personalized education must come to practice. At this moment, I am reminded of a very famous quote. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life thinking that it's a fool. So students must be encouraged to strengthen their natural talents and develop their own unique skills. Teachers should act as mentors and provide an environment for learning at one's own pace and in one's own way. For instance, if a student is extremely proficient in a particular subject, he or she should be allowed to take advanced classes in that subject. Acquiring knowledge shouldn't be a nerve-wracking process. It should be a seamless and an effortless one. Only then will a student really enjoy schooling, and the real success of education can be seen when students stop having Monday morning blues. I envisage an education that breaks the four bounds of a classroom and something that's more in tune with the real world. I also look forward to a system that shifts from being exam-centric to knowledge-centric. Education must kindle a student's thought and curiosity, and this is why I feel that students should be exposed to basic research fundamentals at an early age, so that they are in the habit of questioning why, and not just accepting things the way they are. Today's education scenario is such that some of the top scorers in top institutes are finding it difficult to get jobs because of lack of communication skills, organizing capacity, leadership qualities, and team spirit. Education is not just about earning a degree or certificate. It's about acquiring these life skills, and it's about our actions, attitude, and personality. In my opinion, an ideal school education for tomorrow should be something like what Albert Einstein said. Education is what remains even after one has forgotten everything he's learned in school. Thank you. That was a very thoughtful speech. So, our 8th finalist, which is D006, Arvind Balaji of 8th Standard, KPM Metric Higher Secondary School. Arvind Balaji.
A very warm welcome to one and all present here. I am Arvind Balaji of 8 from KPM Matriculous Higher Secondary School. I came here to share a few words on the topic school education today and tomorrow. First of all, a school is like our home. Mahatma Gandhi has said that our education should be in our mother tongue so that students can study easily. Education plays an important role in our daily life. Our India has also started the smart class education, which was helpful for the educational growth and the development of our country. The inventor of electric bulb, Thomas Alva Edison, has thrown out of his school when he was 12 years old because people thought that he couldn't study. He was poor at mathematics and had difficulty with words, but also he knew the importance of education and he became a great scientist. In our state, they are following Samachiyar Kalvi, CBSE, that is Central Board of Secondary Education, Matriculation and State Board types of syllabus. Education is developing because of technology development, that is smart class, DVDs, internet and through video conferences. Teachers are the important person. In olden days, the students will go to teacher's home, that is Gurukulam. But nowadays, education is developed through schools also. Till 9th standard, Tamil and English are became compulsory subjects, and in 11th and 12th, there is a choice for language, that is Tamil or French. About Smart Class. Smart Class is the best way to learn in this modern generation. It was invented by Americans. Through Smart Class, students can understand the education very easily. Smart Class is done with the help of DVDs and projectors. About my school, there are 28 teachers in my school. They play a vital role in my day-to-day life and as well as in my school. My teachers are my role models. There is no specific teacher. All teachers are my role models. If they are compared with God means also, there is no objection with me. School education in USA and in UK. In USA and in UK, a school of division within a university that is devoted to a scholarship in the field of education, which was an interdisciplinary branch of social sciences or encompassing sociology, psychology, linguistics, economics, political science, public policy, history and others all applied to the topic of elementary, secondary and post-secondary. The US has 1,206 schools and Department of Education and they exist in 78% of all fields. According to the number of educational institutions, 1,76,572 individuals were conferred as master degrees in education by degree granting institutions in US in 2006 to 2007. No child shall be held back in any class or expelled from the school till the completion of education in early school. Education to all children, including disabled children, till the age of 6 to 14 years. In fact, when we say that all of us must be educated, we mean that all of us must be educated in a such a way. The first, each of us can do whatever job is suited to his brain and his ability. And second, that we can realize that all the jobs are necessary to the society. Only such type of education is called valuable to the society. Our Tamil Nadu states first for the number of educational institutions and our India states third for the education. China is the country states first for education. As I said already, the technology education is developing through technology development, that is Smart Class, DVDs, internet and video conferences. So in future, I am sure that the education will develop through television also. Because in National Geographic Channel, there is a program titled Science of Stupid, co-powered by Manish Paul. This show will tell us about science. So in future, this show will populate world fully. Today's students are tomorrow's first generation to grow up with digital technology. Before I conclude my speech, I would like to give an information that is our Tamil Nadu government has introduced an act called Free and Compulsory Education Act of 2009, and in last moment I want to say that tomorrow's education should have 100%. Mostly the schools should have in rural areas also. I request the government to make schools in rural areas also. Education is necessary to all the human beings. If our India states first for the education, our country will become a developed country. So please friends, don't walk in this age, please learn in this age. So no education, no life. I thank everyone to give me this wonderful opportunity, and I thank all to spend your valuable time for my speech. Thank you all again.
That was a very energetic and informative speech. Well, let's move on to our ninth finalist. Speaker number E007, G. Abhishek of 8th Standard, PSG Public School. G. Abhishek.
A very pleasant afternoon to one all present here. I am Abhishek of class 8 representing my school, PSG Public Schools, for this elocution competition. Now, when we think of world today, we have two important crises. The weather crisis, climate crisis, and equally important one is that of the education. when we think of education, we fail to think of what people do after their education. A survey says that more than 30% of the graduates are not employed and more than 200 million children in the world are not being educated. At this point of time, I would like to introduce to you an inspirational Indian who is none other than Mr. Sugata Mitra. He is a mind-blowing person who wanted to introduce internet facilities for free for the slum. It was not practical for the government to give computers with free internet service for free. So what this person has done is a computer with free internet facilities per slum. He has placed computers with waterproof cabins and with a camera so that he can monitor what the children are doing. The people who had no exposure to the vast, beautiful, informative and whatnot have now gotten exposure to what most of the other people enjoy. Now, this survey also says that young children are more interested towards this. At this point of time, I would like to introduce to you Mrs. Shukla Bose. She is a motivational lady who has motivated thousands and thousands of children. What she has done is she went through almost all slums of North India. What she found was there are many children from the age group of 4 to 14 who are not being educated. She just wanted to educate everyone, each and everyone in that. She interacted with her peer with this program. Her peer asked if she was really going to do it, but her ultimate answer was yes. She started her first ever school in the only 2-story building of the slum. It had 28 students. It had no roof. It is less than the population of my class. But now she educates 1,200 children with 4 schools and 1 junior college. Now let's move from Indian to African education. At this point of time, at this juncture, I would like to introduce to you another person, Kakanya Naipia. She is a native of a village in Africa. The system followed in her village was that there was a head of the village. What he makes is the law, what he frames is the law, and what he says is the ultimate judgment. People had to follow him. They followed child marriage, child labor, and women, they were not being educated. Women had to work from 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. No, but Kakanya Naipia somehow managed to continue with her future education by getting the permissions from her heads and her parents. She left to Durban learning law. She learned that child labor and child marriage is forbidden. She learned that the law of inheritance for women is there. Women can own their property. But in her village, they were not allowed to do it. Now, she got angry ultimately. She became a social reformer. Now, she owns a school in her village and teaches girls in particular. Now, I would like to introduce an mind-blowing Indian who is none other than Aravind Gupta. What he has done is, he was actually a general manager in a truck manufacturing company. But he knew he was not born to do it. So now, he is a toy manufacturer. A toy manufacturer for playing with toys. Playing with science ultimately. He is making the interesting more and more interesting. Now, he's making the interesting more and more interesting. He has just introduced a drawing slate for the blind. It is like this. The top surface is covered with Velcro and he has made a pen that dispenses ink instead of ink. A blind child can just draw it and can feel what he or she does. Now, Indian education must be transformed. But how? Let's take Finland education. What people do is, from 8, I'm in grade 8 now. Supposing I'm willing to become a chemical engineer, a chemical scientist, I learn chemistry, that is science, I learn maths, chemistry also involves maths, and English. This is how everyone must be educated. Now, but in India what we do is, on the sake of education, we just concentrate on the literacy rate. What is literacy rate? Now I know what I talk and what I write. I write what is my name, I know what is my name. They are not actually educated. I know it's getting time, thank you. And I would like to wind up my speech by saying a short story. Now, I would like to introduce a captain to you, Captain Matthews, who is a captain of a boat. He likes changing his things, his fashion. He loves fashion. So what he does is, the first day, in his crew, he wears this ship. He wears this cap. First day, he wears it like this. The second night, the first night, what he does is, he gives it a fold. I hope I'm audible to you all. He gives one fold to make a tail back, and this looks like a fireman's cap. The second night, what he does is, he gives it another fold, so that he can wear it like this. It's similar to an adventurous cap. He just wears it. He likes changing his styles. The third night, what he does is, he gives it two other folds. This is called the shikari cap, and policeman, you have seen in the films, policeman wear this, and this is a boat that he rides. There's a sudden storm. It thrashes this side, and this side gets cut. It thrashes this side, and again this thing gets cut, and the bridge also gets cut. The captain has nothing to do but for a life jacket to save himself and his crew. So I'd like to say that it lies in our hand to change education from a fashion to a life-saving jacket. Thank you. Jai Hind.
That was a very creative speech. Now we have our final finalist, which is speaker number E016, R.V. Tarun Kumar of 9th Standard, Yuva Bharati Public School. E016, R.V. Tarun Kumar of 9th Standard, Yuva Bharati Public School.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I extend a warm welcome to my fellow participants, respected teachers, parents, and the most honorable judges. It's a great privilege for me to be here on this stage to speak about a topic that has been hotly discussed and debated by scholars for decades and centuries together. And before all, on this glamorous and sunny afternoon, I would like to place an introductory note. I'm Tarun of class 9A from Yuva Bharati Public School. And let me begin. Few days back, while preparing for this speaking here today, I ended up searching the word education in Wikipedia. As Wikipedia puts, education is a form of learning in which values, skills, beliefs and knowledge of a group of people is extended to the next generation through discussion, storytelling and teaching. And this is what is cultivated in schools. But the next thing I did out of curiosity was to search for the word tomorrow's education in the same search engine. But what I was left with was 3 words on the screen, no results found. As the saying goes, the past is a waste paper, the present is a newspaper, and the future is a question paper. We almost have no knowledge about the situation or the state or the condition of future education that is to be cultivated in schools. But a very least probable speculation could be drawn about this state by relating the change, that is the scale of change that has taken place during the educational systems from the past to the present. The world that we live in now is completely different when public schooling became first common. It has taken just less than 3,000 years for the first human being to begin his activities of pottery and the second human being to record his ideas in written form. And it has taken almost just less than 300 years for the first human being to build the steam engine and the first human being to make plans of building space stations on the moon. And without me actually concluding these speculations, I guess each one of you will arrive at the state of education that is to be cultivated in future schools. It is not a compulsion of education to just keep pace with today, but it has to create flexible structures for future education or an unknown future education to be accommodated into it. It's not a compulsion, but it is an obligation. And now, speaking about the specifications of education transformation, I arrive at the word technology. Technology plays a very influential and important role in such a case, and on the basis of aspects of education transformation, I could state that the current young generation of the 21st century are the first to be entirely brought up in a digitized environment which changes their views of knowledge, the way they access information, and the way they relate to the world. The magnitude of technology is out of our hands, it's out of bounds. It has changed the educational system completely, but in a positive manner, with the coming in of smart boards, projectors, and the World Wide Web. And now, I'm forced to take up the position of a general spectator in order to pinpoint the general views of education of today and tomorrow. As an intellectual spectator of today, I would feel that cultivating education in classroom environment through taking notes, records would be ultimately of no use. But the same intellectual spectator of today would feel that the educational system of the future must be constructed on the principles that knowledge is cultivated in a natural environment which is highly general. And you all must remember that this was the educational system first prescribed by Mahatma Gandhi into the Indian educational system much before the British influence into it. And now, but the scholars describe the educational systems as highly hypocritical, and me, being a part of the so-called knowledge-promoting educational system, have the sole right to restructurize its future. I would like to break the concept and the emphasis on education being confined into the four walls of a classroom, as people have no idea about the abundant nature of the educational resources available. The emphasis on productive activities must be stressed upon in the future educational system rather than forcing people socially to opt for educational activities that are pen-papered and table-shared. The emphasis of moral rights is an aspect that the current educational system has completely failed to do so. And at the end, education, especially in schools today, is what we know and what we have all experienced. But education in schools in future is an aspect that we are all not aware of, which is concealed in the dark from us. And I would like to finish by saying a quote of Nelson Mandela: "Education is the most powerful weapon that could be used to change anything in the world. Impossible is an opinion, not a declaration. Impossible is potential to change. Impossible is temporary, and impossible is nothing." Thank you.
That was a very informative speech. Now I hand over the dais to Shruti ma'am.
While the scores are being consolidated and you know the winners, in the meantime, it's only fair that we appreciate and we recognize the finalists. So to give away the finalist certificates, may I call upon Principal of Kikani Vidya Mandir, Geeta ma'am, and Ganesh sir of T-Slots to come to the dais.